Hi. So, too often I see that people struggle to forgive themselves for their past. Because sometimes when we grow up in a severely abusive environment, the things we learn to do to stay alive and have our needs met are going to seem extremely maladaptive to anyone who didn't have those experiences. If you don't know what it's like having to hide at 2 a.m. in a kitchen cupboard because your wrestler dad who was drinking comes home mad, you might not understand why that person struggles with substance abuse, as an example. If you don't know what it's like to have to worry about whether your mom's going to wake up from whatever it is she just put in her arm that day, and if her friend that she calls your uncle comes over and he's going to hurt you again. If you haven't experienced that, if you haven't learned what it's like to sleep with a knife under your pillow, or wondering if maybe you should put the rat poison in Buddy's cup again to make him go home early, if you don't know what it's like to try to survive tooth and nail, you have no right to judge other people. None. They're not going to stay like that if they choose to heal. They will grow and they will do better. But if you keep holding people accountable for things they had to do to survive in God knows fucking what, because I've seen a lot and I know I haven't even seen it all, you have to give people more patience. You have to give people more acceptance. Part of us healing is having community. Part of us healing is understanding that we are lovable and are forgivable. I saw a great post today, and it was stop pretending or stop believing that we aren't supposed to help our neighbors. We're supposed to be a community. We are supposed to have neighbors who can help us. That was my biggest problem where I was being abused. I was isolated from my neighbors. Afterwards, when I felt inclined that I needed to, out of due diligence to my own heart, tell my neighbors who my abuser really was, because he lived right beside them and they had little kids, I realized after talking to them that what I had been told my whole life was a lie. They didn't have any shitty views of me. That was something propagated and pumped into me. We need community. If we'd had more sense of community where I was, maybe I would have had friends, and maybe one of their friends' parents would have seen something and talked to my parents and realized something was going on. Too much do we want to assume that law enforcement or the government or the system's justice system is actually going to do the thing it claims it's going to do and keep us safe. It can't keep people safe if people don't keep each other safe, right? There used to be things like Community Watch. There also used to be community events that didn't involve everyone getting shit-faced all the time. So we actually got to spend time together. One of my favorite community events as a kid was the chili cook-off. And it was during the daytime. So it's not like everyone was walking around pie-eyed at the end of the fair or whatever, you know what I mean? I didn't have to worry about hiding my kids from the drunk asshole coming out of the beer tent. Like, what the fuck? And it's just my view. The thing I'm pointing out, though, is that it's community. We are spending so much time judging, criticizing, and holding someone accountable for their past that we have no idea why or how they had to go through that. If communities had leaders that actually understood the value of the connection between people in a community, if they understood the value of encouraging the people in their community to pursue their passions, their goals, and help by giving back to the community through their passions and goals. Not only would the person feel good about their passions and their extracurricular hobbies, whether it's like, you know, I don't know, some people like to do things like glasswork, some people like to do metalwork, whatever it is somebody likes to do. If their whole community would just show them appreciation and admiration for their work that they do you understand the impact that would have on that person's life? And how much more they would give back to their community? It is like a reciprocal thing, this energy exchange. Mind blowing, as my dog shakes my bed. Apparently I needed some shaking up. Yeah. The point I want to really drill home is stop judging somebody just because you've heard about their past. That's not who they are. Those are things they had happen to them, and those are choices they made. But that's not who they are. Context changes everything. Only hearing one side of a story is never accurate. And why don't we have communities anymore that want to see their neighbors succeed? Think about it. For those of you who live in a small town, maybe you have neighbors who genuinely support you and want you, right? Small towns are a bit different. But for those of you living in bigger communities and cities, how many of you can say that you actually want your neighbor to be successful at whatever it is they choose to do today? How many of you wake up and say, you know what, I hope my neighbors have a good day today. It is great outside. I really hope my neighbors, you know, have a fantastic fucking day. How many of us are doing that? If we get what we give in this earth game, if you give gratitude, it heals your heart. If you give appreciation, if you give love, it helps regulate your nervous system. It also helps other people regulate theirs. And they will give it back. It's reciprocal. You know, the connection, it's not just it's like a circular thing. You know, you give and you take. But it's not like give and take, like I'm going to give you a whole bunch of money and take your car. That's not the give and take I'm talking about. The give and take is, actually it's not a give and take. I reframe that. I don't like that word. It's a give and give. Yeah, it's a give and give. We have to be open to accepting, but lots of people give us energy we don't accept. We just seem to think we don't. We seem to think we don't have control over it. We don't realize how often during the day we do reject other people's energy, right? How many times somebody who has, like myself, some self-esteem issues, and people give you compliments and you're like, oh, thank you. But you don't actually really accept the energy, right? Because you're like, yeah, they just don't know me well enough. You always make an excuse. And you just, you know, bye-bye energy. I'm not going to take that good energy, even though they're sending me good energy. I'm not going to take it. Why? If you take it and you give it back to somebody else, it's like better than that whole pay it forward thing we do at Timmy's, right? When we pay for the guy's coffee in front of us. It's better than that. Think about it this way. Every single one of us has the ability to help heal little tiny pieces of everyone else around us just by wanting the best for them, whatever that might be, without judgment. Becoming a community, wanting people to heal, wanting people to grow, not caring about what the fuck happened or what they did in their past, acknowledging what they're doing right now and helping them with the now. That's what we need. More people helping with now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. Now. Because now is now. All we have is now. What are you doing right now? I'm going to go have coffee. Okay, bye.